Hey everyone, I consider my channel to be at the intersection between like the wire cutter and Uncrate. So discovering new things and then also having very in-depth and rigorous reviews in order to help you make the best decision for like menswear. But at the same time, I also have to buy things for my kids. And so if you're like me, you read the wire cutter or the Sweet Home guide for the carriers for your kids. And if you're not interested in these, then go ahead and click away. But I'm going to talk about these two carriers today if you're trying to make a decision between the two, which is what we did. Once your kids hit like 9 to 12 months, then you really age out of the Baby Bjorns and the Ergo carriers. You need something that'll put them a little bit higher on your back because they like to see out of it, but they're also strong enough that they can hold themselves up and have themselves outside the carriers, and they get so heavy that the Ergo or the Baby Bjorn just doesn't have the right weight distribution. If you're serious about hiking and wearing your kids, these carriers are the best way to go. These are the two recommended carriers by one of my favorite sites, which is the Sweet Home, where they do very expansive reviews with industry experts, and they put a lot of these through the test. And so they recommended these two. We needed to get two carriers, and I thought this is a good opportunity to give you my experience between what the differences are, because most people are only going to buy one, or you want the same carriers for both kids. So we're looking at the Poco AG and the Deuter number 3. Now these are the same price. They make the Deuter 2, which is slightly lower. We bought both of these at REI. They're very close in price, especially if you're looking at the Deuter 3 versus the Poco AG. The Deuter 2 saves a little bit of money, but it takes off the sunshade. But what I would argue is that Osprey has much better construction and a much better overall use than any of the Deuter models, the 2 or 3, and the cost justification, if you're looking at the Deuter 2 versus the Poco AG Plus, is basically just in the fact that the Poco AG has a sunshade and the Deuter 2 does not, and it is really nice to have a sunshade. So since we purchased these, I've worn these on about a dozen hikes. My son is 18 months old and he's about 25, 26 pounds. The biggest kind of detractor in the Duet, and you can kind of see this in the video when I'm putting him in, is there's no bar right here that reinforces the chamber for the kids. This kind of collapses in on itself, and with the Poco AG there is a bar right here that keeps this firm. And the main difference there is that when you're moving around or you're walking or any of maneuvering that you're doing with the pack, this feels a lot more flimsy and there's just a lot more movement to it, and it's not as comfortable. The other thing that I would say is it's a minor thing. Whenever you're strapping in, there's two buckles here. There's one here and there's a sliding one. This looks a lot like, you know, a regular car seat. And with the Poco AG, there's only one section to attach. So it just makes it a little bit more smooth to go in and out of the packs. And other than that, they're extremely similar. So they have a ton of storage space. They both have a really good kickstand to hold them up. I prefer the Poco AG because it stands more straight up than does the Deuter. The Deuter has more of like a leaning or tilting to the pack whenever you have the kickstand out. They're about the same weights when they're empty, so it's not like the Deuter is any heavier or lighter. And then the way that the waistband is wrapped around and constructed on the Poco AG, much more secure feeling when you are wearing it, and I really prefer that over the Deuter, either the Deuter 2 or Deuter 3. And they're both extremely adjustable. It's not like one is more adjustable than the other. I'd say really the two main differences are the fact that this has the bar right here, so you can see you can undo the bar in order to collapse this. They both go up, down to about the same collapsed size, so if you're putting in a car or if you're traveling with it. But the bar right here, to me, is really a make or break between the two, especially because they're so close in price. You know, you're not comparing like $300 to $200. You're talking about like a $30 to $40 difference. Whereas the Poco AG has the sunshade built in right up here, and then the Deuter 3, which is the same exact price as the Osprey, has the sunshade, and so that's really your cost justification right there. So I hope that answers your question. If you're trying to look between the two carriers, strongly prefer the Poco AG, especially because they're basically the same price. So if you're going for a premium child carrier, that's the one to go with.
And a shout out to Woolly. I wear them every time I go hiking. If you're not wearing wool, it's an incredible fabric for hiking or everyday use. I'll link to them below so you can check them out.
If you have any questions, you can ask below. You can also reach out at @_Kavalier on Twitter. I've used both of these a lot, so I'll do my best to answer any questions you might have on the specifics. If you're interested in the main topic that I cover on this channel, it is the best menswear on the internet. So if you want any more of that, stick around. And until next time, this is the Kavalier.
You lost his hat.
What?
Hat. His hat.
That'll be good for the video. Here.
Okay.